Hello and welcome to Dad's Ad Job episode 6. This is your host Adam Leatherbarrow and I'm joined with Callum Halton and Rob Halton. Guys, how you getting on? Guys?
Oh, yeah, we are here, sorry. We're just being entertained at the moment. Hold on.
Am I distracting you here?
We were just on the break there.
So, if you haven't noticed, the two Arsenal boys are watching Arsenal in the Champions League at the minute. So, you're going to get live reactions as we record this episode. So, seriously, guys, how are we getting on?
I'm alright, but I didn't have Gabriel Jesus getting fouled Kolasinac on my Champions League bingo this year, so that was pretty good.
What goes around comes around.
That's right.
I think we need to call up the producer here and say why we're filming them, or when we're recording, while Arsenal are playing.
Well, to be fair though, guys, I mean, originally, if the Champions League didn't change its format, this would have been a Europa League night, wouldn't it? So nobody wants to play on a Thursdays, but now it's 1 week Champions League, then next week Europa League. So, yeah, blame UEFA on that one.
They don't care about us.
They don't care.
I mean, these poor footballers are going to go on strike soon.
Yeah,
that's awful. It's not actually what he
Think
said.
about the fans, guys. Think about the fans. We want football every night of the week.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But then you don't want a post pre-season friendly between Newcastle and Spurs in Australia, do you? So,
3 days after the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. That's all right, though. They want to strike in actual competitions. Maybe they should listen to me in my Carabao Cup sort of
Or maybe
proposal.
they should throw the Nation League in as well somewhere.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
For the record, your Carabao Cup proposal was woeful.
Well, going on own goals, or family goals and own goals. Guys, how was your week this week?
Yes. My week happened, I think, is the best way.
Your week happened?
Yeah, I mean, would you like me to build on that?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, well, do you know what, guys? I kind of mentioned this very briefly on my FPL show podcast, but I feel like the last couple of weeks I've just been kind of like, oh yeah, this is nice, that was great as well. But you know what? Sometimes there's a reason why my hair is receding, and it is largely in part due to my children. Like,
Mate, you were bald at 18. Did you have any secret love childs then?
that is not true. But like, I just feel like their sole purpose the last couple of weeks has just been to test me. And it'll be like little things like, okay, go downstairs and sort yourself out breakfast, come downstairs and he's dancing in the living room, or okay, go and get dressed. And I come and I go upstairs and he's like playing around with Lego. Or Relay will be like, can I have apples and peanut butter for breakfast? And then I make the peanut butter and apples for breakfast. And then she says, no, I don't want that. So I just feel like this week has been a bit Tom and Jerry.
What you don't realise is that's Kenny saying do the opposite.
No.
Watch Daddy buy it.
No, we're a good tag team. That is not what happens, and she would never do me like that. But I feel like this week has been a little bit like those cartoon animations when we were kids, and like the Roadrunner is just giving the Coyote the run around. Jerry is giving Tom the run around. That's exactly what I feel like it's been. So I feel like I'm probably, and the other thing is, Alea has started to sass me like,
what, Daddy's little princess?
I know. Like, she's like, and I'm like, what's going on? And then she's starting to like pout at me and stuff, like, or like look at me as if to say, no. Where the hell has this come from? So I'm 5-0 down, I think. I've had a 5-0 week.
You've had a drubbing, mate.
I've had an absolute battering.
You've had a humbug drubbing.
I've had a humbug drubbing. Yeah, I'm 5-0 down. However, I have to say, like, I did get a consolation goal. Danny had his induction, not his induction evening, but it was like a kind of like a touching base evening, if you like, just to like catch up after he started secondary school. And his form tutor said that he started really well. He's making good friendships and he seems to be settling down. So there is a consolation goal in there. Danny's doing pretty well at school, but on my word, parenting has been hard this week. That's it.
Yeah.
No, mine's simple, really. Obviously, Bo's been away with his nan. due to having chicken pox and
Well,
obviously
still.
No, he's back now. So
okay.
I'm getting there. Come on, give me a chance. Yeah, so he's obviously...
He's had a 2-week holiday away from his parents.
Yeah, me and Evan have gone over to the Maldives. I've been going to work. Yeah, so he's been over at his nan's, obviously because we've had to work. So then, obviously, myself and Heather have gone down to pick him up, and he was so excited. You know when like toddlers or like babies are so excited that they sort of like run and like do like that sort of little dance, and it was so like magical to see him, so happy to see us. And since then, he's like not letting us out of his sight. So like he wants to be on us, he wants to be around us, he wants to be playing with us. Other than obviously when he goes nursery, and he's just like so excited to be around us. However, the sad part, and I don't really want to bring it up too much, but obviously you all know our sleeping situation and how difficult it's been with him sleeping, and still is him sleeping. We've had a whole week of pretty good sleep, obviously him being at mum's, and now he's back. We've been waking up twice a night, 3 times a night, 4 times a night, and I don't want to complain too much because you know the history of it and how bad it was, and obviously with his illness and all that sort of stuff. So, and it's nowhere near that, but having full night's sleep and now going back to being woken up twice a night, and I'm not great at going back to sleep anyway. That is an own goal, but it's been lovely how exciting he's been to see us and wanting to be around us, and just I don't know, it's like almost like Nan's done something to him. Like he's come back like older or something. It's incredible. But yeah, no, it's been a real top week actually. To be fair, he's been a good boy.
What would your score be?
Oh, it's got to be 1-0 in it, like the weekend.
1, okay. nice little nod there. For me, I think I'm a bit more like an Everton this week. Go 2-0 up and end up conceding 3 and losing the game. So at the weekend, obviously we had a bit of a free weekend, like just sorting bits out around the house and that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take Connie out for Sunday and let Kerry get some peace on her own. And I packed a little packed lunch, got a little Peppa Pig chair, and drove to Stansted. And then we went on holiday. No, no, we went to the viewing platform at Stansted. There's like a little road. It's called Belmere Road. And you can park up on the road and then walk through the little woods bit. And then there's like a green. It's just a green.
Heather's been there with Bo.
Yeah, and
it's been wicked.
Yeah, honestly, I loved it. And she, I say she loved it. She saw that it was like a 2-minute wonder for her. She saw the big planes come in. They were taking off and landing.
Now.
And
So
oh, sorry.
Being a child, so good.
And yeah. So back then we got a little packed lunch and sat down, had a bit of lunch, and watched the planes come and take off. And then we was there for like half hour, which was good, and she got excited by it. And then we went to North Weald, so we drove all the way down to North Weald and saw the little planes. And there's a couple of cafes there and like a nice little play area and that. And we watched all the little light aircraft. There was like an old like a Lancaster bomber.
Oh,
No, sorry, it was a Spitfire. Sorry, not Lancaster bomber.
Oh, wow.
There was a Spitfire there, and someone was getting ready to get in it and actually fly it. So they were taking off from North Weald. So we watched that take off.
Do you know how expensive it is to do that?
Yeah,
it's like $4.5 grand for like 30 minutes.
But this guy was kitted out like proper old school World War II RAF uniform, and he was driving it.
Is it Tom Cruise?
No, he didn't land in Basildon. I'll tell you a story about that. Tom Cruise going into Basildon. So the guy was getting ready and he was taking off, but apparently it was an air show in Duxford. So they were taking off from North Weald and then going over to the air show nearby. So that was good. But her eyes lit up, like seeing the aircraft there, and it's a big plane. It was a green one and a blue one, and like this little just 2-person plane just rocks up with like on his propellers, like talking to the guy when he got out. I went, "Where have you been?" He went, "Just Isle of Wight." And like, literally just coming back from Isle of Wight on this little island. Yeah, it's just crazy. But it's funny because like some of the planes were up for sale in some of the hangars, and they were like, 14 grand for a plane. I'm like, my brother-in-law bought a boat for more than that. Like, it's
incredible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, it's completely different lifestyle. But it's quite nice to see all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so Little enjoyed it. She was knackered after that, and had a nice Sunday lunch, and yeah, it was a nice Sunday.
I didn't take it to someone who was interested in aviation, though, Adam. I didn't know. Not that much. I mean, I'm not. I'm not a plane spotter, but I just like being at the airports and watching all the airplanes take off. Like, I love being at the airport more and being on the plane rather than the holiday. That's always been a big thing with me.
What Adam's not telling you is actually he just put Connie there and then went down the pub. He went, look at the sky.
Actually,
come back in 4 hours' time.
There is a pub. I didn't go in there, but there is a pub nearby to that viewing strip in Stansted. So, if people are lost end, then they can go and sit in the beer garden at that pub. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's nearby. So if people look at it,
Ching, there's Adam's commission again.
no discounts this week.
Danny would love that. So I'm definitely going
Bo loved it. Heather went with Bo and they spent a couple of hours there. And literally, she said that she just sat him on the lap and he was just watching the planes and they were counting the planes. They would just say different colour planes. And he was so like.
One of the planes at Stansted was it was just all grey, no markings on it whatsoever, and it was the same size as like a Ryanair plane. I thought, what the hell's that? Spoke to the plane spotters and they went, oh, that's a fueling plane. I went,
oh yeah.
Oh, well, what's that then? He goes, well, basically, they go up, they'll drop the fuel cable, and the F-17s or something would go up and fly underneath it, and then they'll use the magnet, and then they'll fuel up while they're in the air, and then they'll go off. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I didn't even know that could be possible. Like,
yeah, no, I've seen a video of that on YouTube before. It's incredible the way it happens.
Yeah,
like
amazing.
You couldn't even fathom that could be done until you've seen it, because it's not something that you would ever put in the realm of like possibility. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We've got a man on the moon. Apparently.
So that was my 2-0 up. But then the 3-0 was last night. Basically, give your daughter a bath after nursery, and you noticed like a little rash. So I thought, I said to Kerry, I went, oh, we'll have to get this rash checked out. And she went, oh, I think it's just a heat rash. It's nothing too serious. And do the glass test in case it's like meningitis or whatever. So done all that sort of test. And put her to bed. She went to bed okay. About 9:45. Well, there was a choking noise on the monitor and like crying. I was like, hey, what's that? Went running upstairs. It's pitch black. Obviously, she's got a little nightlight on. I put my hand in the bed and it's wet. I'm like, and it was all lumpy. I went, oh. And she'd been sick in her bed, but where she'd been sick, she's got drawers underneath her mattress. So the sick went through the gaps of the bed and it went all over all the new bedding, like from the new bed sheet. So not only did we have to strip her bed, we had to wash all the other bedding as well. So that was a nightmare. So we took her down, washed all the floors and everything. Sat down. Oh, you're all right. She goes, no, I want to watch Teletubbies. Oh, okay. Watching Teletubbies. Drink some water. All over the place. Again, I'm like, oh no. And then it was just projectile vomiting everywhere. Like I was saying to Rob earlier, like, you ever played the game Theme Hospital?
Yes, 100%. We had it on our first ever computer. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
And do you remember the little people? They would just throw up in the middle of the hallway. But then if you didn't have a janitor, they would just build up, like just pile the puddles of sick.
That was
Such a good game. Hell of a game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like Sims but in hospital.
I do remember that.
So good.
And they had theme park as well, didn't they? That's the
Theme Park
same thing.
But it wasn't
Command and Conquer.
Don't get me started on Command and
Command and Conquer.
I did, yeah.
Command and Conquer was
Ric Flair was one
Jam.
of the generals in it in one of the later versions.
Really?
Yeah, dressed up like a blue army gear on. It was one of the generals.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Man, I used to love Command and Conquer. The Land of Nod.
Yeah, so basically she was just throwing up everywhere, and then I entered your sort of portal really in terms of not getting any sleep through the night, and when I did, it was on a beanbag in her room on the floor, and then it worked out that my dog was not well either, so I got downstairs at 5:30 this morning because I had to get up and take him to daycare, and found all this grass eaten sick in her nursery. So not only did I have to clean up the toddler's sick, I had to clean up the dog sick as well. So
taking behind the segment.
Yeah. He's my boy.
I'm only joking.
He's my boy. I can't do that. So I felt like Everton the past 2 game weeks in the Premier League. So when you think you get out to a high and then you do well and then you get to a point, it's like, man, why did my defence slip up? And then I just got completely bombarded.
That's like Rob's FPL team.
Yeah, no, it's like my FPL team.
My FPL team is fine, mate. I'm not worried about my FPL team.
I've got to pick my team, actually. I've got to do it tonight or tonight.
Oh, I done a big hit on mine. I took Palmer out. Because he's playing West Ham. I don't like players against West Ham in my team, so I took him out. I put Mitoma in.
I'm going to be wildcarding this week.
Yeah, I wildcarded last week, but then João Pedro was injured because he. It was weird because a lot of the Brazilian players that played the international team, I think about 50. It worked out 50% of their squad returned injured or lacked fitness, which is weird because West Ham didn't play Paquetá and brought him on a second half, and then João Pedro didn't turn up, and I think there was a few other Brazilians that didn't play at the weekend, and so something to look into, I think. Yeah, as we're drifting onto the Premier League, have you got? Was there a derby that happened at the weekend? I can't really recall it.
I'm quite happy to start talking about that actually. If you'd like me to.
What colour's North London?
Well, actually, good reason you brought it out because I put a poll out to ask what colour was North London. And the options were A, red, B, red, C, red, or D, red. And funny enough, the answer is
red. Of course.
A unanimous vote.
A unanimous vote. North London is red,
but with a covenant.
Before we talk about
black.
that, we were wearing a black kit. But before we start talking about that game, we need to have our weekly episode.
Oh.
Let's all laugh at Man U. Alright? So, let's all laugh at Man U. Let's all laugh at Man U. Da la la la.
La la la.
Hey! Okay, so, why do I want to laugh at Man U this week?
Yeah, well, that's a good. I want to ask that question because with a 3-0 win against Southampton and a 7-0 win against Barnsley in the Cup, is there something to laugh about this week?
There is something to laugh about this week. And the reason why we're laughing at Man U this week is because while they were beating Barnsley 7-0 on a Tuesday, all the big boys in the league, sorry Adam, were getting ready for their European conquest to begin. So Man U, enjoy the Carabao Cup. Congratulations on your 7-0 win. But now the big boys taking over for the rest of the week while they play the Champions League, where the best go to compete. So good job, Chance. See you in the next round. And all the other stuff, but
yeah, I wonder if they'll get a bye like the rest of the top 6 teams.
Well, mate, if you're going to moan about it, just become a top 16 be better. I'm not interested in negative energy, mate.
Didn't happen last season. That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, that is my weekly episode of Let's All Laugh at Man U coming to a close.
So your synopsis on that is, despite how well they performed against Barnsley, they'll never be of the same level as the other teams that they're trying to compete with this week.
Well, they're not on the same level as Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, are they? Okay. So no.
Who have they got this weekend?
Man United. Good question. I could find out for you. If you want to talk about your North London.
Yeah, I mean, Cal. Talk to me about North London, Cal. North London derby.
Well,
is it forever?
It's North London forever. That's what it is.
Well, whatever the weather.
Whatever the weather, these streets are our own.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go on. Let's get away from the cringe fest.
And I know Tottenham fans are going to say, we were lucky. The amount I've heard that said on Twitter or YouTube or anywhere, yeah, how lucky we were. Right, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I know, they say they had chances, they had so many shots, but I don't think they really threatened. And our back 5 or our back 4, however you want to look at it, yeah, just exceptional. Like, I'm really sorry, but Gabriel and Saliba And I know everyone's talking about they're absolute rocks, but they are like mountains. They are mountains. And I just think, even though they had most of the ball, I didn't feel like they were going to score. At any point, I didn't think, oh no, we're in trouble. They're gonna beat us here. Not once. I just think the back five were just exceptional. And I think Tottenham, it shows where they're at, because, you know, going into the game, all the fans, Tottenham fans, you know, were going, oh, we're going to beat them. You know, we've got this player out, they've got that player out. No, Ricey's not playing. And I think they did have a massive opportunity to beat us. And I think that just shows the level that they're at, but also the level that we're at, where we can come in and basically suffocate a game, get a goal, and take the win. And I think, as a Tottenham fan, I would now be a bit worried going forward into their season, thinking that they couldn't beat in a North London derby at home a weakened Arsenal team. To be fair, what about you, Rob? Would you compare it?
To add to that, they got 2 last-minute goals against Coventry City last night in the League Cup as well. So, in terms of them competing with the big boys, I mean, they had to rely on late kind of braces to beat a championship side.
Does anyone know why they're making a big deal of? Is it Richardson crying or something, or was he upset or something?
Who? Richardson or Richarlison?
Who scored the second goal?
Son, wasn't it?
Brennan Johnson, wasn't it?
Oh, Brennan Johnson, yeah.
It's because he had to turn off his social media because he was being abused on it by I think Spurs fans for not, you know, delivering or whatever.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
But and that is bad.
Shocking,
Shouldn't
yeah.
be hounding players on social media.
No.
We've seen that with Saka.
Hammer us. Hammer us. We'll take the abuse.
Yeah, that's it. But to be fair, when I saw the Tottenham lineup, I was quite happy actually, because I thought this plays into the Arsenal hands perfectly.
Oh, you won't believe he's just given a penalty, isn't he?
Yeah.
Was it a penalty?
I don't know. We're watching the Arsenal game, and I think Atalanta have just won a penalty.
Oh, part A.
Is that outside the box?
Oh.
That's inside the box. That's a pen.
Do you think it's a pen? Is it because of the pulling?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, that's a tough decision, man.
Oh, I don't
know. Ref's giving it. But,
yeah, but they're going to turn it over. Anyway, yeah, go on, Rob.
So, when I saw the team selection, I was actually quite pleased. I thought, do you know what? That's okay. I think we'll beat them. And I predicted we beat them 2-0, but the score was eventually 1-0. But I thought they're just going to run onto us, we'll absorb the pressure, and we'll do them on the break. And actually, the goal came from a break that Kai Havertz, I think, played and won a penalty from, and then Saka put into the box for a brilliant Gabriel header, and I absolutely adored his celebration. It was just so everything that is Arsenal right now. But you said something a minute ago, Cal, about the famous back five. I'm sorry, about the back five. And actually, there is something kind of famous back five about this Arsenal team. You've got kind of like this really energetic Gabriel, who's like resembles Martin Keown, and you've got the calm and collected, knows what he's doing Saliba, that kind of reminds me of Tony Adams. Yeah, and then you've got the completely unfazed Raya, who echoes David Seaman. And actually, I think that is the makeup of why Arsenal defensively are so strong.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that makeup is what helps push the team forward, defence to attack. And I think that we did a number on Tottenham, an absolute number. People saying we were lucky, we weren't lucky. We were Mourinho-esque with a bit of class. We were George Graham's 1-0 to the Arsenal. We were excellent in that game. We did a number. That was Tottenham's best team. That was Tottenham's best team. We had no Odegaard, no Rice, no Mourinho, no Calafiori, no Zinni, no Tomiyasu. We had none of those players. None of those players were available to us. We had teenagers on the bench. We went there. We talked about in the transfer window, we raised our ceiling. we raised our floor so that our ceiling could be stronger when we break it next year. And we did all of those things, and we beat Tottenham, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. The thing is, like, if you win every game 1-0, you've won the league, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it is a title-winning game, that.
Yeah.
It is like, for instance, as you say, we had that amount of players out. Tottenham would have been going into that thinking, we've got a fantastic chance, and we should get the win, and being at home as well, sorry. I just think that if I was Man City now, that would give me the impression of they mean business. Because I think in years gone by, that would have been a game we definitely lost. And I definitely think Raya's going to save this.
Oh, yeah. So Atalanta just had to take the penalty against Arsenal.
Watch, here he comes.
After a VAR check.
He's going bottom right, goalkeeper's right, and he's going to save it. Told you, I freaking called it. Good boy, Ray, you little keeper.
That's my keeper.
Did I not call it? Sorry.
That's my keeper. Fucking love him.
Did I not call it?
Yeah, he did call it.
And do you know why I called it?
He called it live, people.
His foot placing. If you watch his foot, he puts his foot and his heel,
he's so good.
Pointing to the left post. The left post. What a save!
Oh my God, David Raya.
That is I'm sorry. That is another double save he's done, and it's the 6th week into domestic calendar, 5th, 6th week into domestic calendar. That is the second. That is the third double save that I've seen from him, and it's been outstanding.
But look at him now, just completely calm.
Hold tight. Good boys. I'm sorry. This defence is ridiculous. Yeah. Any podcast.
My daughter's in bed.
Sorry, I'm getting excited. Right. Any podcaster, any pundit, come on here and don't say we ain't got the best defence.
You can talk louder than that.
Yeah. In the league. Yeah. In the world at the moment. Yeah. We're having words.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's get back to the
live excitement.
Right, so I might have got overexcited, but listen, buzzing.
Yeah, let's get back to Tottenham then.
To be fair though, Atalanta have had looking at the stats just then, they've had more possession and more passes.
Yeah, we're going to do a Tottenham, don't worry. It's like 1-0, we're going to score in a minute.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
No.
Premier League.
There's a couple of talking points that I thought were interesting. I'll try not to go for the obvious. One thing you did say, Adam, was you said if you win every game 1-0, you win the league, right? And I think that's probably where Arteta is trying to outdo Man City. And to be fair, I can't claim this, but I heard it on the Handbrake Off podcast, and I thought it was absolutely on the money. Haaland could score a hat-trick every game, right? But other than goal difference, it's still worth 3 points.
Yeah.
Right? So Arsenal can't match that firing power. They can't. They're good, and I love Kai Havertz, but they are not Haaland good up front, right? So what do Arsenal need to do? Keep the defence tight. Be really tough to score against, because if Arsenal can win their games 1-0, they're still within a chance of winning the league. Goal difference you can't do much about, because if Haaland stays fit all season, their goal difference is going to be ridiculous anyway.
I don't think he'll stay fit all season.
How many goals are you in this season?
This season, so far?
Yeah.
1. We've let in 1 goal this season so far.
So if you average 1 goal conceded every 4 games, that's your prediction, isn't it?
Well, I did say 15, didn't I?
You said 15 goals conceded this season.
Yeah, I did. But, so I thought that was a really good point they made. But the actual talking point I wanted to bring up, because I just thought it was nice to see, actually. We all love Martinelli. All Arsenal fans love Martinelli. All of us want to see him do well. And I saw something posted on Threads by a guy called AFC Threads. And it was Martinelli's numbers from the North London derby. He had 5 successful take-ons, 5 possessions won, and more than 10 duels won. And he is the first Arsenal player to have those numbers in a single game in 10 seasons.
Wow. And we're in there.
And I just think that is incredible. And the reason why I say that is because he's had it so hard. We can talk to the cows come home about him should have making that cross to Saka in the first half, right? We can talk about that. But those numbers speak for themselves. He is working hard for the team. In terms of what he produced on the pitch, he did exactly what was needed. The same as Saka, tracking back his wingers to help the fullbacks and double up on the defence. And, he had some wonderful runs, as well as all of the other work that he had to do to make sure that Arsenal could win that game. And I just think that, someone like Martinelli there deserves their flowers, because it's so easy to kick him while he's down right now. But actually, there's a lot to be really pleased about for him there.
No, he did have a good game. Yeah, I agree. And we're about to score. Oh.
So I just think that's really great to see.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well done, Stato.
Thanks, mate. Well, thank you, AFC Fred, because when I saw it, I was just like, that's great to see. That is what you want. That is what you want to see.
Yeah.
And then just one more thing before we move on to West Ham. I did take loads of notes because I watched this back a couple of times. But what really annoyed me was on Match of the Day too, trying to make a bigger thing out of Timber's yellow card. When I think he went over on Porro, talking about, it could have been more than a yellow card. And I'm just sick and tired of things like Match of the Day 2 or Sky Sports trying to create impressions on. It just feels like they're trying to create impressions on social media. There is absolutely no way that what Timber did there was intentional or wasn't dangerous. He put his ball on top. He put his foot on top of the ball. The ball's rolled, and he rolled onto Pedro Porro. It wasn't dangerous play. It was clearly accidental. I even thought the yellow card was harsh. And then for his troubles, Timber carried on running into the box and then was taken on by Vicario, who pushed him around a little bit. And actually, the whole thing was a nothingness. What was quite nice to see, though, is that Starboy, now Starman, was straight in there to back up his mate and did exactly what you want your teammates to do in a situation like that. But yeah, I think most of the game has been covered by other people, but they were the things that really stood out to me. That, and it's 3 games in a row that we've won at White Hart Lane, and
no, it's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but actually,
sorry to be pedantic.
No, that's okay. But actually, we've beaten Tottenham Hotspur at the Hotspur Stadium more times than they've beaten us now.
It's just
stats on stats, isn't it? Yeah.
All good news, isn't it, really?
That guy thought he'd score as well, man.
Yeah, he was running off celebrating.
Just doing the VAR check on the goal, on the penalty save.
15 minutes later.
Yeah.
Go on then, tell us about
West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah, so getting ready to listen to the game and find out the team news, and no Paquetá, no Fulkrug, no Tadibo. So
is Moyes back?
And I think everyone kind of thought that. So Souček started over Paquetá, which was quite mind-boggling and baffling, and Antonio gets another start again despite only returning from Jamaica the day before. Starts the game against Fulham. We go 1-0 down inside the first half hour, and we looked poor. We looked very, very poor. Not particularly happy with the build-up play. Not clicking, to sitting back, inviting pressure on, and it was like, what the hell are we doing? We've got this luxury of talent and we're not starting it. But after that first half, Lopetegui knew what he'd done. He'd done something wrong, and he done an instant double substitution straight away. He took Souček and Antonio off, and he brought on Somerville and Paquetá. And as soon as them two come on, we started to play more free-flowing football, more attacking-wise, more threats, and it was a much, much better improvement in the second half. And the substitute, which should be mentioned, is the introduction of Danny Ings in the last 10 minutes. So he's gone for broke. He's put an extra striker up top, and it paid off. 94th minute, Bowen gets the ball out wide, crosses it back. Danny Ings gets a touch on it, slots it in the bottom corner. Leno was unlucky, to be fair. He did get a hand to it, but his save was behind the line, and it hit the side netting. And we snatched a draw at the dying second. So what I did, the sort of major improvements for me was the fact that we've got a never say die attitude now. Despite the first half lineup and the first half performance, the second half showed what we're capable of in terms of we're not giving up, always going to try and get the result. And yeah, it was a positive side to the game on that, and we ended it on a positive, which is very, very important. So yeah, well done, Danny Ings. It's his 4th goal for West Ham in the 18 months that he's been at the club. Might even be longer than that. On 125 grand a week. So there's always question marks on the fan base and fingers pointed at David Sullivan on that. But to be fair, Danny Ings is a poacher. He is someone that is in the 18-yard box, and he should be, if he gets a chance, he's going to bury it. And that is what he's paid. That's what we bought him for. That's what we paid him to do. But he's playing under a manager that's going to put him in those positions. So I'm really, really happy about that.
I agree with you. Because I predicted this game to be much more entertaining than it was. And
I think we all did, didn't we?
Yeah, and I just thought, the London derby, both really recruited well over the summer, and you just kind of felt like it was going to be like who was going to be the other big team in London kind of like game, you know? And I did expect more from it, but didn't get it. It was a much tighter game. That's still good for London football, I think, like having good games that are tight, not like walkover games, because there are many good teams in London. But it was quite nice to see West Ham show a little bit of resilience.
Yeah.
And really hold on. But then I did see you post a poll about this, asking who should be starting for West Ham, or who should be the second striker after Falkirk or whatever. And you had a little poll up that was distinguishing between Antonio and Ings.
Yeah.
So what was the outcome of that, and what do you think? It showed the poll, but it didn't show what you thought.
So the actual poll results were very split.
Okay.
Very, very split. And I think there's a lot of people there that like to... I think people choose Mikel Antonio for what he's done rather than what he's going to deliver. And I think we've seen the best of Antonio now, and to be honest, he should be coming off the bench the last 20 minutes to use his muscle against a tiring defence. That's what he should be doing. He's not a starter for me. Thank you, Mickey. I think he's a Premier League record goal scorer, and he continues to score goals, but he's just not a starter for me. I mean, if Fulkrug's fit, he starts. But if Fulkrug's not fit, Danny Ings has to start for me. That's my opinion.
Especially he's on 100. What did you say? 118 grand.
125 grand a week, allegedly. But
he's starting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always liked Danny Ings. I think wherever club he's been at, he's managed to get double digits for the clubs that he's performed in. People will recognise him for the Southampton sort of career that he had, because he was their outlet and he was scoring loads and loads and loads of goals. And then he went to Aston Villa, it raised eyebrows. But again, he proved his worth under Gerrard and scoring those goals. But then as soon as Emery come in, Aston Villa, he wanted a different style of play, which is why we bought Ings, because he was made available because he was surplus to requirements there. But I think let's say class is permanent, form is temporary, and Danny Ings is still probably one of the best finishers in the league, but he's just not getting the service. He's not playing the right way, and it'll come good. It will come good, and he's younger than Antonio, so we're going to get more years out of him than not. But the thing is with Antonio that frustrates me is that he always tends to drift wide or drift deep. And he's famous for having an interview criticising Gianluca Scamacca, saying that you've got to be scrappy, you got to want to come and fight for the ball rather than wait to receive it, and got to feed off scraps. And I think Lopetegui's not a scrapping coach. He wants his team to play from the back, flowing football, and Antonio just doesn't suit that. So the frustrating thing with Antonio is that he keeps going out to the left wing, retrieves the ball, holds the ball up well, but the end product is just shocking. It's just not good enough anymore. He's got away with it far too many times, and if he gets a lot of time on the ball, he can do something. But in this game, you don't get space, you don't get time. Just look at Haaland when he played against us game week before. and you give him a couple of yards, he's burying it, he's finishing it.
I think if you're in a position like most teams in the Premiership now, where they need a striker, and there isn't strikers out there, so you've got to try and make up what you've got from what you've got and the best around. And like I say, I think Ings is a decent striker. He's proven in the Premiership, and I think he will come good at some point. For you, it's just trying to keep him fit and then getting him in the team with people around him who can feed him, because his record proves that he can score goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm looking forward to is the return to fitness of Fulkrug, because again, there was an analysis on him about people questioning his price tag for his age. 31-year-old, we bought for £22 million from Dortmund, and it worked out that the reason why he left Dortmund is because they were playing that they don't encourage crosses into the box. They kind of walk the ball in the box and look for a poacher, like someone like Russy, to come in and steal it. So that's how Dortmund have adapted their style of play. But now, Fulkrug has come to us, and we've got players that can put crosses in. You've got Emerson and Kufal. You've even got Wan-Bissaka, Bowen, Somerville, Kudus can all whack a cross in. And if you put it on Fulkrug's head, I think there was a statistic out there saying that he's the most successful aerial duel striker in Europe. So he's always going to, if you put him up one-to-one with a defender, he tends to win the ball.
And that's with Olivier Giroud still playing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've bought based on the Moneyball effect in terms of statistics and averages and stuff like that. So I'm desperate for him to do well, Fulkrug. So I think, it'll be exciting times if he starts bagging the goals.
Is there anything, just before we finish with West Ham, is there anything that West Ham fans are worried about at the start of the season?
The ownership sacking the manager too early, because that's what's come about in the news recently. Is that it's rumours. It's not truth to this, but there's rumours that the ownership at the club has started to not give Lopetegui time and to get results. They're not impressed with the fixtures that they've had. But I think, come on, like there's been calls.
That's ridiculous if that's true.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. But I don't. To be honest, I don't believe a word of it. They're saying, "Oh yeah, he might sack him like by October, November." I'm like, but
who are you getting in?
Yeah, exactly. Unless someone out there is like, unless they've had a chat with someone like Tuchel or someone of a higher caliber manager coming in, I can't see it. I can't see it, even if that's the case, if they are available. But in my eyes, if David Sullivan wanted to sack someone, he should have sacked. If David Moyes had the money to sack someone, he would have done it, and he would have done it last year when David Moyes has 6 months left, and we had 6 months left to turn our season around based off poor performances. He could have sacked him there, and then he didn't, to save a pound note. So why is he going to sack Lopetegui when he's got 2 years left on his contract?
No, I think it'd be a shame. You've got to give the fella time.
You've got to give him time, and I think it's just all nonsense. But that's the only thing that West Ham fans are worried about is the decisions off the pitch.
Well, hopefully he's given the time because he's spent money that has built a team in the village. So hopefully it pays off.
And and talking of things off the pitch, sorry to digress. West Ham have just announced a partnership with Red Bull as official energy drink supplier. And after all the rumblings of Red Bull West Ham and the London Stadium Red Bull Arena, I think this is good. This could be a step in the door for them. So it'll be interesting to see what develops from this small drinks partnership.
It depends how much money they're giving you, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, with PSR rules, any sponsorship, like we've got an official toothpaste supplier now, or an official carpet supplier now.
And if anyone wants to sponsor our podcast, you're welcome to.
Yeah, so let's go into, if anyone wants to contribute, we're more than welcome. Let's go into the that was the review, but let's do the preview now. So, who have Arsenal got this weekend?
Man City.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, just quickly?
Well, talking about Champions League, I'd love to know how it's worked out that Man City played the day before us, at home, and that their game's at home on the weekend to us, and we're playing a game after away from home, where we've got to travel back to London to then travel up to Manchester to play Man City. I'd love to know who's worked that one out.
I just don't think it's worth getting into. It's just a conspiracy trap.
It's not a conspiracy trap. It's ultimately about making sure players are fit and recovery and getting good food into them and all that sort of stuff. It's not a conspiracy. It's you're talking about making things fair. You've got two teams that are going for the top, potentially going for the title, playing, and big games, important games that they need to win in front of a game that again we need to win. It could just, I don't know, maybe not just decide the league, but have big impacts on the league.
I think it's unfortunate, but I think it's neither here nor there. It's just the way the fixtures panned out.
Yeah. What time are you guys playing? Is it
at 4:30? I think. On Sunday.
4:30.
It's the last game on Sunday.
Because what I have noticed with Man City, and they've been proven guilty on this, again, on top of the 115 charges that started the court case this week, they were fined last season for having multiple kick-off delays. Throughout the season, I think it worked out like 6 times, had multiple kick-off delays, and they've had fines of like £50,000 per match, or like that. And interestingly, this weekend, kick-off was delayed 5 minutes. Why? Why? Because everyone's games are finished, but then Man City are like, oh yeah, we've got another 5 minutes to play now, or we can kick up the gear or slow it down, or it just feels a bit too. Again, they're breaking the rules again for something they've already been proven guilty with.
Is that how clever Pep really is? He's even doing things like that.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, right. I think you've gone down the rabbit hole. I think the reality is we're going away to the Etihad. No one takes any points away at the Etihad. I think the last time someone beat them there was like in 2022 in the Premier League game or something ridiculous.
Is that something like Crystal Palace or something like that?
Something like that. Haaland is playing incredible. It did look like De Bruyne came off with an injury. Whether that will be something that affects the weekend or not will remain to be seen. And Man City look strong. So with all things considered, I'm predicting a 2-0 Arsenal win. Do you know what? Do you know why? And you can sort of say the whole denial thing or whatever. And maybe it is denial, but I think we're going to be without Ødegaard again, which means the performance we pull out is probably going to be similar to the one that we pull out against Spurs. Similar sorts of lineup, Muneri, sort of cameo appearances and that kind of stuff. And I do think City are there to be gotten at defensively. Even if Rodrigo plays, he played yesterday, I think it was, and he looked so tired on the. He looked dead on his feet. And I just think, do you know what? If there is a time to play Man City, this might be it. Early in the season, get it out of the way, and I think we could beat them. Maybe 2-0 might be ambitious, 1-0 might be more realistic. But who would have thought that by the end of the first 5 games of the season, 5 really tough games of the season, and by tough I mean specifically, we played Villa away, we played Spurs away, and now we would have played Man City away, all in the first 5 games of the season. If we come away with 10 points, that's an achievement for the first 5 games of the season, as far as I'm concerned. If we come away with 12, is it 12? No, 10. If we come away with 13, is that right? Am I doing my maths wrong here?
Well, how many games you played? 5?
We played 4, haven't we?
Yeah, 4.
6, 9.
You drew Brighton.
We've got 10 points, haven't we?
Yes.
So if we finish the weekend with 11 or 13 points after 5 games, considering we've had 3 tough away fixtures in
goal. Oh,
in is that Martinelli again, bless him? In Villa, Spurs, and then City. If we finish the first 5 games with 13 points, I think that is a pretty good start to the season. And so, I'm going to predict them.
Yeah, I'm going to predict them. You've got to win, yeah. And I think the reason why is, as Rob just said, they haven't been beaten at home from 2022, and records are there to be broken, and they've got to lose at some point. So why can't they lose against Arsenal? Our defence has been fantastic. And I expect us to be decent again on the weekend. And I think, we have got the firepower going forward. I think Sterling possibly could go back home or go back to his old club and do something special. So I'm going to go for a win as well from Arsenal. And again, it just makes the whole league exciting because, it brings us further forward, but also Liverpool will be looking. Who else is up there? I suppose Aston Villa, Chelsea, all them teams are going to go, right, okay, they're drop points, they drop points.
Man United.
Let's see. Sorry. Let's see who else we can, go knock down. So I think Arsenal could get a win. And
Score.
What did you go for? 2-0?
I said 2-0, but I did also say 1-0 is probably more realistic. And I'm not sort of like, I also think that I think we had Haaland down to like 0 XG across both games last season. So I do think that we are the team that can stop Haaland. And he may well go and bang a hat-trick, but based on last season's performances against Man City, I do think we can stop them scoring. I think we're probably one of the only teams who can stop them scoring.
Yeah, I agree with everything Rob said, but I'm going to go 2-1. I think they will score. They're at home. I think they're going to score, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carl. I think you're going to win 2-1. I think both of you are going to win, but I just got a feeling that the spirits of Man City might come back to haunt them. When you've got Jesus up front, Sterling. If I had to put a bet on them two scoring, it's typical, isn't it? Like the ex-Man City boys come back to dent Man City's title hopes, and with an ex-Man City coach as the manager.
There's also more reason to be hopeful. Cal, since for you. Adam, feel free to jump in. When was the last time that Arsenal trailed in an away game? The last time that they trailed in an away game.
Aston Villa?
Because you've aimed that at me, I'd say West Ham.
No, it wasn't West Ham.
We beat you 2-0 that last season. So you trailed then?
No, but there was a game after that.
Oh, right, okay.
All right, thank you for dropping that in.
I know, I just want to clarify that. That's my answer.
Away Premier League game as well.
Oh, an away.
That was your welcome back to that. Nice, wasn't it?
An away Premier League game.
Well, that you lost?
No, we won. Well, we still won it, I think.
Oh, well, okay. So you trailed, but got the result.
Yeah.
So that result, I'll just point out, you trailed and didn't get a result.
Do you know what? I'm bored of this now. The answer is 2023. We have not trailed in an away game the whole of this year.
Oh, really?
Not who was the game against now?
I think the game was Fulham.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but
oh yeah, that was one. That was over Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah. That was literally the game afterwards, wasn't it? Yeah.
So we have not trailed.
So I'm not purposely winding you up.
We have not trailed in a single away game this year. So
blimey,
you've got to be hopeful. They are excellent on the road, maybe even more so than at the Emirates, and you've got to believe. So I'm going to believe, and I think we'll win.
In Ted Lasso spirit.
Exactly. So, Adam, West Ham.
So we've got Chelsea at home in the Saturday midday kickoff. I say midday, 12:30. Don't know what to think, really. Chelsea are very hot and cold, aren't they? I mean, they managed to smash Wolves 6-2, but then struggled against I think a very good Bournemouth side. They lost in Europe, didn't they, in the qualifications to Serviette? Or no, Servette. I know who they are. Everyone else calls them
Is that
Servette.
your second team?
No,
that's not my second team.
Another second team. Don't talk about my other second team. They lost 5-1 to Celtic last night in the Champions League.
They did.
I've got other second teams I can bat, so that's fine. West Ham, again, we beat them last year 3-1 at home. And I have no doubt we'll do the same again. I think we'll beat them 3-1.
Yeah, I think they'll beat them. I actually genuinely do believe.
I don't think they're that great. I just think they're just a discombobulated squad. Too many players. Players are getting unhappy. I think Maresca's an average manager. I think he done well with Leicester. I'm not trying to discredit him. Anyone that wins the championship deserves credit, but I don't think he's a Chelsea level manager, if I'm completely honest. And by the sounds of it, a lot of Chelsea fans have kind of given up hope over there at the minute. But listening to the Soccer AM podcast with Tim Lovejoy and Tubes on there, they don't go over there anymore because they've lost its soul.
That as well.
They've lost their soul. They don't enjoy it no more. They still support their club, but in terms of going there week in, week out basis, they just say it's dead. The atmosphere's dead. Players are not enjoyable. There's bright sparks in Cole Palmer, but there's glaring issues in terms of overpaying for players and then having to withstand that longevity with them. I think West Ham could do a number on them at the weekend, personally.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I think for all of the reasons that you said, really, Chelsea look soulless, and I think they've had some results that have covered up some cracks, and they've got some players that have covered up some cracks. But ultimately, it's a mess. Yeah. And I think that they will have some amazing results this year, but I do not think they will do anything purposeful. I don't think they'll achieve anything particularly great. And I thought I did actually expect more of Maresca, and he also looks a bit like meh. It's just all meh. I don't think West Ham are prolific though, and I still think they are working themselves out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I do think. I think Chelsea will score, so I think it'll be 1-1.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think sometimes we just need that result to kick us on. Maybe
a good result for West Ham.
Not
because Chelsea are superior. I think historically in the Premier League,
to not lose,
they have been better, and I think that would be a really good morale win. But I don't think
there's a scalp in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a London scalp as well. But I don't think there is much in that Chelsea team. I just don't.
I think in general, as a West Ham fan, I'd like to avoid a loss as much as possible.
Yeah.
Especially after a stat that come out, the top 5 clubs with the most losses in the Premier League history. West Ham was second.
Wow.
Yeah, Everton jumped top over the past few fixtures, but then Southampton broke into that top 5 with a loss at the weekend. So
to be fair, Everton are always going to be up there because they've always been in the Premier League. They've never not been in the Premier League. So but when
you think of the teams that were in that top 5, they'd all been relegated. It was other than Everton.
Yeah,
so
Everton, the only team other than Arsenal.
West Ham, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Southampton, and Everton. So Everton to be the next team to be relegated from the Premier League, maybe, and then West Ham regain that title.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. But yeah, that's the Premier League preview and review rounded up. We'll do a quick one. Halstead Town roundup. We all went over there on Tuesday night, didn't we? And back to our humbugs, and we enjoyed it. Enjoyed getting out and having a beer, and
I was really, really impressed on a Tuesday night. To be fair, it was lovely weather.
It was.
What a turnout!
202 people in attendance, and 3 dogs.
But I've been to
one of them was on the pitch. That's crazy.
I've been to conference games where they haven't got that many fans there. On a Tuesday night, they've got 202 fans that turn up.
Yeah,
I think that is outstanding.
Yeah.
So fair play to all the fans that have gone down there and watched it. I mean, the result is a bit disappointing, but
a 6-0 drubbing by a take lead, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a shame. I would love to debut down there all together.
I think it's also
have a win.
I think it's also worth caveating that take lead are probably pushing for promotion. They're in promotion places, and they were very well organised. And in fairness, Halstead I think are usually much better than what they put on at the week on Tuesday. I think they're having we managed to speak to the chairman for a bit, and apparently they're having a central defence crisis, where I don't think they've got any central defenders really. I think they're making do with what they have. But it was a rough performance. I think there was a sin bin at some point as well.
It was the first for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first time we've seen a sin bin in non-league, and I think the sin bin, they conceded a goal that kind of put the game to bed really, and then after that the goals just came, but it wouldn't have really changed anything anyway, because I think when the guy was put into the sin bin, it went to 3-0, and there was never going to be much of a game after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a shame. But the vibe, the entertainment, people really being passionate about a local non-league team was amazing. people there. So many people in scarves, people wearing the club tie,
hats. Yeah, it's
really
impressive.
passionate support for a really
sombrero was a bit much,
local club, and do you know what? It was lovely, and it shows how much people care. Their community team.
And they even got their own beer, haven't they?
They have got their own, and that own beer was not too bad. The Humbug beer, it didn't taste like Humbugs. I bought my own though, and it was a tasty beer, and it was nice, and it was just something else that gives the club some amazing character. It's got its own beer. It's got a lovely stand. It has a great attendance, and it has a picture of Alan Brazil from a charity match, and probably
1981, I think it was,
from 1981. And aside from perhaps a few pounds, Alan Brazil looked exactly the same as he does right now, which is just incredible testament to the man, really.
I mean, as a chairman or somebody who's involved in the club, I mean, that is an exciting place to be with that fan base, and as Rob said, the passion that's down there. I mean, there's a real opportunity there if they can get some players in and have a good run, and maybe even get a promotion or have a go at a promotion. I don't like saying as a business opportunity, but as a growth of a team and a community. I mean, there could be real excitement.
Yeah.
I must admit, if I was,
they've literally got a town on their doorstep, haven't they? In terms of our high street.
The chairman must be absolutely buzzing, and if he could just, with the management they've got down there, put something together, and have a running something, they could really attract and build something there. I think it's, definitely a grower, we were so impressed. We were talking about trying to go over there, a couple of times a month, for as many home games as we possibly can, and I think it's really, really exciting. I think the chairman's onto a winner there, and hopefully they can really push on and do something.
Jesus Christ, Cal, will you swallow some saliva? The bloody Sean Dyche again.
That's what I thought. I was just
yeah. We're 2-0 up, but then we lost 3-2.
You went very
over in the corner. Receiving Harry Potter over here. Why are you coming for me?
Mate, just don't call me Ron Weasley, and we're all good books, okay? So
if we were doing a collection, I would definitely be the Hermione of this group.
The way your airlines were seen, it's more like Voldemort.
Fantastic. That's Rumbugs.
Anyway, so
you can't say.
Right, if you're going to cuss me, get it right.
English teacher.
So Halstead Town, it was good to support your local club in general, but I think it was a good Tuesday night, very different. So we do have a question from a listener. So we've got a question from Russy B at the West Ham Network. Hi Russ, thanks for listening.
Cheers, Russ.
Thanks, mate.
So his question is, with the stop-start nature of the Premier League with an international break in September, October and November, what do you think can be done about it? Maybe summer fixtures each year, or push the start of the leagues back to accommodate this? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a great question, but there is no alternative outcome to this. The only outcome is that first of all, we all hate it. None of us like it. None of us want it. We get deprived of Premier League or our league football for 2 months, and we're desperate for it to have it back, and then we have to go straight into international breaks. The reality is, we can want all we want. It's not going to change because it's worth too much money. It's worth too much money to UEFA. It's worth too much money to FIFA, whoever. They all want their money. And this is not something where I just don't think the needs of the fans or the wants of the fans are priority here. And I think they're going to continue to have it regardless. So I think starting later, respectfully, I hate that idea because I want the Premier League back faster anyway. and I'm not a massive international fan. If England won the Euros, absolutely, I'd run around with an England flag in the same way as if they won the World Cup. But if there wasn't an international competition, I wouldn't care because I would just want the Premier League back. So starting later is not a thing for me. I think the most common sense answer is to not do the Nations League and just have some friendlies. But
that's the argument, isn't it? That's why they introduced the Nations League to avoid these meaningless exhibition matches where
they are still meaningless. They don't mean anything.
They're fighting for relegation and promotion,
but
aren't they?
No one cares about it.
I'd actually prefer the Nations League over the qualifiers.
Well, this is actually make a point. I was literally about to say. So get rid of they got rid of all the friendlies now, or get rid of all friendlies. Full stop. Just get rid of friendlies. Yeah, and have the Nation League. And run it that is your qualifiers, so that's one way of doing it. Or just completely getting rid of the Nation League and going like every game now is competitive and it is to get you into whatever competition it is. I personally think that all friendlies go and the Nation League is run and they do it an equivalent in the South America, like the Copa America or something like that, to get into the World Cup.
Yeah,
and that's how it's done. Because then it takes away so many games, and players ain't going to get injured. Players are going to be well rested. Because for me, we talk about all these fixtures. It is going to have impacts on how players perform. We've seen it where they, teams come back and you go, oh, they look tired. Well, I'm not being funny. I want to see Arsenal play at the full throttle every single game, but if they're coming back from Nation League or whatever, knackered, then it's affecting our entertainment, and that's what ultimately what football is, an entertainment sport. And I would just want to see the players compete and perform at the best. And I just, as Rob said, international football, I think it's just pointless games. Use the Nation League as for what it is.
It depends. It depends what sort of country you're from, though, isn't it? I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we were very, very happy to see San Marino get their first ever win in competitive football. And there's plenty of other teams that have developed well in the Nations League. Like you take a look at Hungary and how they've developed, and even Liechtenstein and Luxembourg. Like they're players that they've got together. They've managed to build quite a better team to be more competitive for the bigger teams. But in terms of like your top, like say your top 18 European countries, like it's again like, what do you put in another Super League like what they do in South America, and they just have one league, they play each other twice over 2 years, and then you omit the Nations League from that. But yeah, it's the only way you can do it is reducing competition sizes, isn't it?
Do you know what? I take your point about the infrastructure of international football and talk about international progression. I think that's a great idea in principle, giving an equal opportunity for progression or a better opportunity for progression if these governing bodies then invest the money appropriately and help improve the quality of football in their country. However, the way they are doing it right now clearly doesn't work, and I don't have a solution. But it's not my job to have a solution either, I guess. But the current platform we have is not really fit for purpose because, and I do think players are fit enough to play multiple games a week, and I'm not opposed to that. But the timing of these games are so bad that, Arsenal are an easy example because they lost 2 in the international break, right? But, other teams have suffered as well. Other teams have lost important players. Like, I don't know if he played at the weekend, but obviously Nathan Ake had an injury.
Yeah.
When he was away on international duty. And
yeah. Well, Fulkrug for West Ham.
And it's not, you can't on the one hand expect them to be part of a domestic league that is making billions of pounds of worth of money, and then to go and play in another competition because you've essentially demanded it. And And, people keep saying that players need to be protected. If you look at Martin Odegaard is like the Beckham of Norway. Like, his profile in Norway is ridiculous.
Song with South Korea, isn't it? He's like God.
Yeah, like he's huge, and obviously Haaland as well. But Martin Odegaard is like, he's like a poster boy. He's handsome. He's got that David Beckham like charm. Aura. Yeah. He's the captain of the national team, young captain. Played for Real Madrid at 15. He's like iconic player, right? Even if he did have a niggle before he went around the international break, he's never going to say no to playing to Norway.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen. So,
do you remember years ago when Alex Ferguson would refrain the release of his players because they had injuries, and then they'd end up playing
like Ryan Giggs
the day after,
the day after in the Premier League. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, the only thing I can see happening is a reduction in league sizes, because for me, I'm only seeing teams and players spouting potential strikes from the Premier League and La Liga.
I actually think,
and maybe
serious. To be fair, I don't know the full quote, but I do actually think Rodri was misquoted on that.
Oh yeah, but Jules Koundé come out today from Barcelona, so he said exactly the same thing in terms of the fixture pile.
Do you know how you get around this? It's very simple. They increase the squad sizes, especially with this new Champions League.
That doesn't change the international break.
No. But what I'm saying is one, it develops more players. But if you up the squad size from 24 to 28, or
25 now.
Alright, say you up to say 30. Yeah, one, you bleed in other players.
Not going to happen.
No, what I'm saying, if you did, you're now talking about people striking. Yeah, if you bring in more players and you have a bigger squad, and you have better players in, even if they're youngsters or whatever, you have better players around it. One, it develops in that way, but also you can buy better players in. It's more of a rotation, isn't it? So, for instance, if you've got Champions League games, or you've got international breaks or whatever, you've got a better rotation of players, so you're not killing players every week. So I think that's one way of getting around it. And then players will get rest.
That'll benefit Chelsea, though, won't it?
That would benefit Chelsea, yeah. Benefit Man City as well.
But then, by increasing the squad sizes, we're going to end up seeing benches like what they do at the NFL, with the size of the squads and the turnover of players and stuff. Maybe that is the way of it. It is that maybe that increasing the amount of substitutions you can have in a game to allow for that, because I think there's 5 at the minute, but you can only do it in 3 transitions, so you can make 2 double substitutions and 1 single, or 3 in 1 and then 2 in 1 and 1. Maybe that's the way. Maybe there's an introduction of having 11 subs in a game, but then it's like it's breaking the game up again, isn't it? And
I don't know that way.
Yeah, there's loads of different ways you can.
We're not on the FAA or FIFA.
Well, Arsene Wenger, he wanted a World Cup every 2 years. As well as the continental side. So you'd have your World Cup every 2 years, and then in between that year, where there's no football in the summer, there'll be a continental thing. So there's actually more football he's thinking about having.
Listen, mate, no one is sitting here saying that Arsene Wenger is perfect.
No,
we all have our little descent into madness. I'm sure he regrets saying it.
He's the one that enforced the new offside decision.
Which one? There's so many.
What's the one where now it's like VR, isn't it? What they're doing in Champions League. Now that was his choice, and obviously to increase the threshold to have daylight in between players for offside decisions. That was his baby.
That's a good idea. Yeah. He was calling for that when he was manager.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's 20-year progress. Like, we'll probably have to wait 20 years before this solution's found. But for me, I think the only way they'll do it, when you look at previous history, like how the top flight leagues have reduced in size. Like the Premier League, when it first started, was 22 teams. Now it's 20. And now, would they reduce to 18, which would be similar to what the Bundesliga is? And then La Liga are already thinking about it. Serie A are considering it. So they're having a top flight league which has got more, better teams. You don't get your fodder team coming, like your yo-yo team coming up or down all the time.
So on YouTube, that is.
Oh yeah, no, look. Yeah, so I don't know. There's loads of ways you could improve the game, but I think it's just got to suck it up. I think just got to accept it for what it is because money talks.
Why there's money being made? You won't know.
There's money talks because one of the other solutions was European Super League, and everyone didn't want that. That would have reduced the fixtures down for the rest of the clubs, but then it just focused it on the top flight. But money
too
talks.
many people have lost money. That's the issue around that.
And that's it. So kick them all out of Carabao Cup, and there's one competition they got to worry about. Eh? How about that?
Yeah, for some of them, that's everyone we're going to win.
Yeah, no, thanks Russ for that question. It's definitely opened our eyes in terms of the international sort of problem that exists. But if they want to be the best players in the world, they've got to play in the best leagues, best competitions. So they've got to play 50 games a season.
Yeah, they're playing more than that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. At least it's more than some of these players played more than what Spurs will in fixtures, won't they?
Oh.
And to end on that note, that's the end of this week's episode. Guys, thanks again for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
See you later, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.